Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ALIESHA binti ZAMRI. My student ID is 2024-417-328. Okay, so today we will be discussing the National Green Technology Policy 2009, which was introduced in 2009 by the Malaysian government under the leadership of Prime Minister Najib Razak. So this policy was developed to promote sustainable development through the use of green technology. It's focusing on balancing economic growth with environmental protection by reducing pollution, lowering greenhouse gas emissions, and conserving natural resources. So this policy is guided by four main pillars, namely energy, environment, economy, and social. So these pillars aims to reduce consumption, protect the environment, strengthen the green economy, and increase public awareness and social well-being. So basically, what is green technology? So green technology refers to the development and application of products, systems, and practices that are environmentally friendly and resource efficient. So the introduction of this policy was driven by major environmental challenges such as climate change, increasing carbon emissions, and the depletion of natural resources. So these issues made it necessary for the Malaysian government to adopt a more sustainable development approach that ensure long-term environmental protections while still supporting economic progress. So in this presentation, we will talk about the introduction of the policy, the policy problems supported with the evidence, the policy objective, the strategies implemented under the policy evaluation, which include the strengths and weaknesses, as well as recommendation for improvement, and finally the conclusion. Overall, this policy plays an important role in guiding Malaysians toward a more sustainable, low-carbon, and environmentally friendly, responsible economy. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Ilyana binti ZABIDI. My registration number is 202440396. So now we will move to the policy problem. The first policy problem is overdependence on fossil fuels, which is Malaysia still depends heavily on fossil fuels like coal and natural gas. Even though the government introduced the National Green Technology Policy in 2009, the country is still not using the renewable energy widely. In fact, more than 80% of electricity still comes from fossil fuels. Coal alone contributes more 40% to until 43%, which is quite high. This shows that clean energy like solar is still a small part of the energy mix. One of the main reasons is because Malaysia already has many coal power plants. These plants cost a lot of money to build and are designed to operate for a long time. So the country cannot simply shut them down quickly, because this situation is known as carbon lock-in. This is where we are stuck using old energy systems. Because of this, even if Malaysia wants to switch to renewable energy, the process will be slow and challenging. So the next policy problem is policy implementation gap, which is Malaysia actually has a good policies, but the problem is in the implementation. There are many programs like feed-in tariff, net energy metering, and large-scale solar that aim to promote solar energy. On paper, this program looks so good and well planned. However, in reality, the results are still not very strong. For example, not many households are installing solar panels yet. This shows that the policies are not fully reaching the public. One reason is weak enforcement and monitoring. Even though targets are set, there is not enough follow-up to make sure they are achieved. Another issue is poor coordination. Just many different agencies are involved, including government ministries and companies like Tenaga Nasional Berhad. Because of this, the process can be slow, complicated, and sometimes confusing. So overall, the policy exists, but it is not fully effective in practice. So the third challenge is the high cost of solar energy. Installing solar panels in Malaysia can cost between RM80,000 until RM50,000 for a house. For many people, especially in the middle and the lower income families, which is B40 or M40, this is too expensive. Even though the government provide incentive and financing schemes, they are still not enough to reduce the cost significantly. On top of that, getting a loan is not always easy. Banks have strict requirement, which is not everyone qualifies. Another important issue, which is long payback period, which is people may need to wait several years before they can actually save money from solar energy. Because of this, many people that feel that it is not worth it, the investment, at least in the short term. So, cost remains one of the biggest barriers. The last policy problem is law awareness and perception issues, which is many people in Malaysia do not really understand how clear solar energy works. Some are not even aware of the programs like net energy metering, even if they have heard about it, but they may not know how to apply or benefit from it. There are also many wrong perceptions. For example, some people think solar panels cannot work during cloudy or rainy weather. Others think maintenance is very expensive. Some people also believe that solar energy does not really help them save money. This misunderstanding reduces people's confidence. When people are not sure or do not trust the technology, they are less likely to do it or to use it. So, even with good policies and incentive, low awareness and wrong perception will slow the adoption. That's all for me. I will pass it to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum. My name is ZABIDI SHAHIR and my metric number is 202444268. So, I will explain the one of the key objective of the National Green Technology Policy 2009, which is to ensure sustainable development and conserve the environment. So basically, what this means is that Malaysia want to achieve economic growth, but at the same time make sure that the environment is protected and not negatively affected. This objective is also important because it focuses on reducing environmental impact and conserving natural resources, which are essential for long-term sustainability. To make this happen, green practices are actually integrated into national development planning. So in other words, both economic and urban development must follow more sustainable and environmentally friendly approach. One of the main programs that support this objective is the LCCF, which is Low Carbon Cities Framework. These frameworks help cities move to low carbon development, for example, through energy efficiency, building, and better urban planning. Besides, LCCF also promotes the use of green infrastructure and sustainable land use, which help to reduce carbon emissions and protect the environment. In terms of evidence, LCCF is recognized as a national framework that supports sustainable urban development and align with NGTP goals. So, overall, this objective clearly shows that NGTP is not just about development, but also about ensuring that growth in Malaysia is sustainable in long run.
Okay, now let's move on to the second point of objective, which is focuses on increasing national capability and capacity for innovation in green technology. First, it is important to strengthen research and development. By investing more in R&D, Malaysia can develop its own green technologies, especially in areas like renewable energy and also energy efficiency. Second, collaboration is very important because strong partnership between university, industry, and also the government can help turn ideas into real solutions that can be used in the market. And last, we need to develop a skilled workforce. Through proper education and also training program, people will have the knowledge and also skill to support and manage green technology development. In overall, these efforts will help Malaysia become more competitive in the global green economy and ensure long-term sustainable growth.
Assalamualaikum and good day to everyone. My name is ELISA MAISARAH binti SHA'ARY and my student number is 2024-289854. For this part, I will be presenting section 3.3, which is on the policy objective enhancing public education and awareness on green technology and encouraging its widespread use. This objective focuses on increasing public understanding on green technology so that it can be widely adopted in society. This is important because the success of green technology does not only depend on government and industry efforts, but also how aware and knowledgeable the public is. When the public is more educated about environmental issues, they are more likely to practice sustainable behaviors such as saving energy, reducing waste, and using eco-friendly products. To support this objective, programs like My Hijau program have been introduced. This program helps consumers identify products that meet environmental standards, which increases confidence in choosing green products. Overall, higher public awareness can lead to greater demand for green products and encourage industry to adopt more sustainable practices. That is all for section 3.3. I will now pass to the next presenter.
The last objective of this policy is to develop the green technology industry while also contributing the Malaysia's economy. In a simple terms, it means Malaysia wants economic growth, but at the same time, we must protect the environment. The policy encourages the use of environmentally friendly technologies in sectors like energy transportation, construction, and waste management. So it's not just about profit, but also about the long-term sustainability. To support this policy, the government introduced the Green Technology Financing Scheme, or GTFS. GTFS help business, especially small and medium enterprise (SMEs), by making it easier for them to get funding for green projects. The government provides financial guarantees for and subsidies, which helps reduce the risk of investing in green technology. Because of this, more companies are willing to adopt sustainable and innovative practices. In addition, GTFS helps speed up the use of green technology in Malaysia, such as renewable energy, energy efficiency, green buildings, waste management system. As a result, it helps to reduce carbon emissions, attract green investment, create job opportunities, and support the economic growth. So I proceed to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Anis ALIESHA binti ZAMRI. My student ID is 2024417328. So now I will talk about the policy strategies under the National Green Technology Policy 2009. So now let us look at the Green Technology Financing Scheme, or GTFS, as one of the main financial policy strategies under the National Green Technology Policy 2009. So GTFS was introduced in 2009 by the Malaysian government through KEPPHA. It is one of the first major financing tools designed to support the policy's goal. The main idea behind this strategy is simple, because one of the biggest barriers for companies to adopt green technology is cost. So many factories and business want to install solar panels, energy efficient machines, or waste treatment system, but they cannot afford the high upfront investment. So GTFS directly addressed this problem. This scheme reducing the financial burden on industries and businesses by giving them easy access to financing. It encouraged the company to move from conventional high-emission industries to more sustainable and environmentally friendly practices. For example, instead of using all inefficient machines, a factory can upgrade its equipment with support from GTFS. This is clear policy strategies to create a conducive environment for green technology development. So GTFS covers several aspects, sectors such as renewable energy, energy efficiency, waste management, green buildings, and sustainable manufacturing. In other words, it supports a wide range of activities that help reduce pollution and save energy. This scheme works through a collaboration between the government and participating banks. The government does not lend the money directly, but it provides loan guarantees and interest subsidies. The loan guarantee reduces the risk for banks, so they are more willing to lend to green projects. The interest subsidy lowers the cost of borrowing for companies. This is a smart policy strategy because it uses the private bank sector as a partner instead of relying on government spending. By 30 April 2015, GTFS has already financed 185 green projects through 26 participating banks. So the total value of green investment reached RM 2.236 billion. This project creates about 2898 jobs, which shows that green policy strategies can also support the economic growth and employment. So in addition, the environmental impact is significant. The funded project helped reduce approximately 2.65 million tons of CO2 emissions. This means GTFS is a policy tool that links economic development with environmental protection. Okay, so secondly, I will explain the My Hijau Mark program, which is an important behavioral and market-oriented policy strategy. The My Hijau Mark is an official green label in Malaysia that shows a product or services has been certified as environmentally friendly. This program was introduced in 2012 by the Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Corporate, MGTC. This is a clear strategy to guide market and influence how people choose what they buy. So the main goal of this policy is to promote sustainable consumption. Many consumers today say they want to protect the environment, but they do not know which products are truly green. Some companies use green words on their packaging, but the product is not really eco-friendly. This is called greenwashing. So the My Hijau Mark program helps to solve this problem by giving consumers a trusted and standardized label. So under the My Hijau Mark program, products and services are evaluated based on several environmental criteria. These include energy efficiency, low carbon emissions, sustainable sourcing of materials. For example, a light bulb must use less electricity, a notebook must use recycled paper, and a cleaning product must have low chemical pollution. If the product meets the standard, then it is awarded by the My Hijau Mark and is listed in the My Hijau directory. So this directory is important for two groups of users. First, consumers can check it when they want to buy eco-friendly products. Second, the government procurement agencies use it when they buy office supplies such as furniture, electrical equipment and other services. This government encourage ministries and departments to prioritize My Hijau certified products in their purchase. This means public spending can become a tool to support green businesses and to reduce the environmental impact of government operation. Let us now talk about the Low Carbon Cities Framework, or LCCF, which is a key governance policy strategy. So LCCF was introduced in 2011 by the Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Corporation, MGTC, under the Ministry of Energy, Green Technology and Water, KETTHA. So the main idea of this framework is to turn Malaysia cities into low carbon cities by managing and reducing greenhouse and green emission in a systematic way. This is a clear strategy to link urban planning with climate and sustainable goals. The framework guides local authorities, universities and state government on how to reduce carbon output in line with Malaysia's sustainability agenda. In simple terms, it will give them a step-by-step guide on what to do and how to measure their progress. So this is part of the strategic thrust of strengthening institutional framework and ensuring sustainable development for future generations. Under LCCF, local authorities such as city council and municipalities are required to measure and report carbon emission using a standardized assessment framework. This is important because you cannot manage what you do not measure. By collecting data, cities can see where the most of the emission come from and plan the most effective actions. So the framework look at the four main sectors, namely urban environment such as park, green spaces, waste management and air quality. And next, urban transport such as road, public transport, traffic management and encouragement of walking or cycling. So thirdly, urban infrastructure like power supply, water system and drainage, and lastly buildings such as government office, schools, commerce buildings and housing. So for each sector, there are specific indicators and show how much carbon is emitted and how much can be reduced. Based on these indicators, local authorities develop the low carbon action plans. These are practical plans that set up targets, choose suitable projects, and assign responsibilities. The authorities also monitor progress over time and update their plans if needed. Some cities have already started the LCCF as pilot project, including the Putrajaya, Iskandar Malaysia, and Petaling Jaya. These cities have introduced the measure as energy efficient design in building, LED street lighting, solar panels on building, improved public transport system, and low carbon urban planning. The NGTC tracking report show that these pilot cities have achieved measurable reduction in carbon emission and TCT. This means that they produce less carbon per unit of economic activity or population. These efforts help to improve air quality, reduce energy consumption, and lower greenhouse gas emission at the city level.
Now, I will explain about the strength of National Green Technology Policy 2009. So, the first strength of the NGTP 2009, which is a strong financial facilitation through the GFTS, which is the Green Technology Financing Scheme. Basically, NGTP show a strong ability to support green investment, especially by reducing financial barriers and lowering investment risk for companies. One of the main challenges in adopting green technology is actually the high initial cost, so many companies are hesitant to invest. However, GFTS helped to solve this issue by providing financing support, making green investment more accessible. For example, GFTS offers 16% government guarantee and a 2% interest or profit rebate. This incentive significantly reduces borrowing costs and also lower financial risk for companies. As evidence, we can see strong government commitment through the Rm 3.5 billion total allocation under GFTS, which is show the large scale support for green initiatives. So overall, GFTS clearly increase the adoption of green technology and encourage long-term sustainable investment in Malaysia. Now, the second strain of NGTP 2009, which is the standardization and market recognition of green products through the My Hijau program. So, the NGTP show a strong ability to build a structured and credible green market, especially by increasing trust in green products and services. One of the main issues in the green technology adoption is the lack of clear verification. So, sometimes consumers are not sure which products are truly environmentally friendly. To address this, My Hijau program introduced a national certification and labeling system for green products. Through the My Hijau mark, certified product must meet strict criteria such as reducing environmental impact, lowering greenhouse gas emission, and conserving energy and natural resources. This clearly aligns with the goals of NGTP. In addition, My Hijau directory have improved transparency as it allows consumers and organizations to easily identify and choose a certified green product. As evidence, My Hijau certified products are already being used in healthcare waste management nationwide. So, this shows real-world application and strong trust in the certification system. This program also helps to increase consumer confidence, encourage business participation, and drive both supply and demand for green products in Malaysia. The last strength of NGTP 2009, which is its ability to provide a comprehensive and measurable framework through the LCCF, which is Low Carbon City Framework. NGTP is strong because it does not only set sustainability goals, but also ensure that this goal can be measured and implemented, especially at urban level. One of the main challenges in sustainability is the lack of measurable outcomes. To overcome this, LCCF provide a structured framework that helps guide implementation and track progress over time. For example, LCCF include a carbon assessment system and calculator, which is allow stakeholders to measure emissions and evaluate the effectiveness of their low carbon strategies. In addition, the framework covers important sectors such as infrastructure, transportation, and building, that ensuring a more holistic approach to reducing carbon emissions. In the term of evidence, Malaysia has committed to reducing carbon emission intensity by 40% relative to GDP, and this target is supported through framework like SCCF. So overall, SCCF ensure that sustainability efforts are measurable, accountable and practically implemented while supporting long-term low-carbon urban development in Malaysia.
I will now continue with weaknesses of the National Green Technology Policy 2009. The first weakness of the National Green Technology Policy 2009 is the limited accessibility of financial support, particularly for small and medium enterprises or SMEs. Although financial incentives such as the Green Technology Financing Scheme are available to support green investments, many SMEs still face difficulties in accessing these funds. This is mainly due to complicated application procedures and a lack of awareness regarding available financial schemes. For example, even though the GTFS has supported a number of projects, the overall coverage remains limited compared to the large number of SMEs in Malaysia. This indicates that not all businesses are able to benefit equally from the financial support provided. Therefore, improvements such as simplifying the application process and increasing awareness are needed to ensure more inclusive access to the funding. Weakness is the limited influence of the policy on consumer behavior in promoting sustainable consumption. Although awareness of environmental issue has increased, many consumers still prioritize factors such as price, convenience, and brand familiarity when making purchasing decisions. The My Hijau program was introduced to encourage eco-friendly consumption by helping consumers identify green products. However, its effectiveness is still limited due to low public understanding of eco-labeling. As a result, demand for green products remains low, which also discourages businesses from investing in sustainable production. This creates a cycle where both supply and demand for green products grow slowly. Therefore, stronger awareness campaigns and consumer education are needed to improve behavior. Is the uneven implementation of green initiatives across different regions in Malaysia. Urban areas generally perform better due to stronger financial resources, better infrastructure, and higher technical capacity. In contrast, rural and less developed areas face limitations such as lack of fundings, manpower, and expertise. For example, under the low-carbon cities framework, cities like Putrajaya and Iskandar, Malaysia show strong progress, while smaller regions are still lagging behind due to these constraints. This imbalance reduces the overall effectiveness of the policy as national sustainability progress becomes uneven across regions. Therefore, greater support should be provided to less developed areas to ensure more balanced implementation nationwide. That concludes my presentation on the weaknesses of the National Green Technology Policy 2009. I will now pass to the next presenter.
Okay, now I'm going to explain about the policy recommendations. First, I would like to talk about the Green Technology Financing Scheme or GTFS. Currently, one of the main weaknesses is limited access, especially for SME, due to strict requirements and financial barriers. Because of this, many businesses are unable to adopt green technology. So, I recommend that the government expand the scheme by increasing funding, simplifying the application process, and also offering lower interest rate with more flexible repayment terms. This will encourage more companies to participate and also invest in the green technologies. Okay, next is the My Hijau programs. The main issue here is low public awareness and limited participations from industry. Many consumers are not familiar with these certifications, and companies may not see enough benefits to apply. Therefore, the government should strengthen awareness campaigns and provide incentives such as tax rebates or subsidies. This will increase demands for green products and also encourage more companies to get certificates. Moving on to the Low Carbon Cities Frameworks or LCCF, the weaknesses of this policy is that it's voluntary, so implementation is not consistent across cities. Some local authorities are active, while others are not. To improve this, the government should set clear carbon reductions target and make participation mandatory for major cities. At the same time, funding and technical support should be provided to local authorities. This will ensure more effective and also consistent implementations. Okay, the last recommendation is monitoring and evaluation system. I would like to highlight the needs for a monitoring and evaluation system. Currently, there is no comprehensive system to track the performance and impact of these policies. This makes it difficult to measure progress and ensure accountability. So, I recommend introducing an integrated system that uses digital tools to track progress, carbon reductions, and also complaints. This will help improve transparency and also ensure that all policies achieve their intended outcomes.
So, in conclusion, the National Green Technology Policy 2009 is an important framework that guides Malaysia towards sustainable development by balancing economic growth, environmental protection, and social well-being. This policy was introduced to address issues like climate change, pollution, and overdependence on fossil fuels, while promoting green technology as a key driver of development. The main objective of the policies are to reduce environmental impact, promote green economic growth, strengthen innovation, and increase the public awareness. To achieve these goals, several initiatives were introduced such as green technology financing, SIMS, My Hijau Mark program, low carbon cities framework. This initiative helps encourage the adoption of green practices among business, consumers, and local authorities. However, there are still some challenges. For example, Malaysia still depend heavily on fossil fuel. There are also weaknesses in policy implementation, financial barriers, and low public awareness. Even though the policy has strength like financial support, product certification, and urban planning strategies, there are also weaknesses such as limited access, low consumer influence, and inconsistent implementation across regions. Therefore, improvement are needed, including making GTFS more accessible, increasing awareness of My Hijau, ensuring consistent implementation of LCCF, and strengthening monitoring and evaluation. Overall, the policy is strong foundation for Malaysia green development, but continuous improvement is important to ensure long-term success. That's all from our group. Thank you for listening.